Hi there, I'm Mike Gales for Everlast Nutrition, and in this video I want to go over 6 things that the pros do that you may not be doing. Just to give you some background information for this particular video, I was a sparring partner for years for world champions in both boxing and mixed martial arts. And the reason why I mention that is that those sports require the athletes to be in pristine physical condition. And these athletes are arguably the best conditioned athletes in the entire world. I have known many pro athletes over the years, and some of the top guys had whole teams looking after their bodies, almost as if they were a high-performance race car. Yet the best of the best had similar behaviors that made them successful. And maybe some of those tips will be of some help to you. Well, for starters, they have clearly defined goals. You see, the pros have a clear goal in mind, and they devise a specific plan to get them there. And this is the one thing that really separates them from their average gym goer. I can't tell you how many times I've had guys come up to me telling me that they want to get bigger, they want to get leaner, they want to get stronger, or maybe they just want to look good. The problem is they're pulling themselves in too many directions, and like a deer stuck in the headlights, they end up going nowhere. The pros, on the other hand, have a laser focus on what they want to accomplish. You see, in combat sports, each and every fight will always bring with it a different dynamic to the table. Perhaps this particular upcoming fight is going to call for some more stamina and endurance. Maybe it's a 12-round fight against a big slugger as opposed to a slick boxer. In that case, the training camp may call for some more lateral movement or some more head movement in the pocket. The whole point here is that the pros know exactly what they want to accomplish. They have a very specific plan to yield that specific result, and they stick to it. They don't just abandon their plan because it got hard on the first day. Number 2, they realize that there is a cerebral component to fitness. The best pros know that there's more to becoming a world-class athlete than just the physical. There's a huge mental and emotional component to being fit as well. You've often heard that becoming a champion is 90% mental, and that's because it's that mental component that's going to push you harder and farther when your feet get weary. Now, the pros are human just like the rest of us, and they're going to have days where they just plain old don't feel like it. They too may have car trouble, a breakup, or they're stiff and tired, but it's on those days that the mental toughness takes over. Sometimes it is a question of mind over matter. These guys are on a quest, and the true champions stick to the path and they put in that hard work even on the days that they don't feel like it. Number 3, they train to be good. Now, the pros don't train to look good, they train to be good, because what makes a pro athlete look good is when they win. The top guys in the world don't cut corners. They take the time to properly warm up, they stretch, and they train explosively for power. They do all those really hard exercises in the gym that a lot of the muscle-bound guys don't really do. The pros particularly focus on their cardiovascular strength, their core muscles, and of course, they train legs. If you ask any of these guys, they're going to tell you that there is no one secret that makes a champion, but it's 1,000 little mundane things that they do well. They become the sum of all of that hard work while they were training. The pro athletes may look like they're carved out of stone with chiseled muscles and six-pack abs, but that's a byproduct of all of that hard work. You're not going to catch the high-level pros brushing their hair or double bicep posing every 2 seconds while they check themselves out in the mirror. Number 4, they don't waste their time. They're not spending 4 hours at a time at the gym socializing. A lot of these guys are on a tight schedule. Many of them are training twice a day. They have their boxing, wrestling, or kickboxing or technical training in the morning, and then a lot of them come back at night for their strength and conditioning routines. There are only so many hours available in the day, and these pros use those hours wisely. When it comes to the gym, they hit it and they quit it, and that's something that you can learn from them because you're so much likely to stick to a workout routine that maximizes both your time and your effort. Number 5, they eat to perform. The word diet has a totally different meaning for pro athletes. A lot of these guys have to make a certain weight for a fight, but they also have to have optimal performance at that weight. They need to fuel their bodies, and because of that, they think of food differently. It no longer becomes just about what tastes good, but they also have to maximize their nutritional value for the amount of calories that they consume. They eat a well-balanced diet of carbs, fat, and protein, and they ensure that they're properly hydrated. They need to nourish their bodies for optimum performance, and so they ask themselves the question, what is this particular food actually doing for me? The whole point being that many pros look at food from a biological standpoint and not just from a culinary one. And finally, number 6, they rest. In fact, pro athletes designate rest periods into their training schedules. Their routines are designed in a very specific manner so that these guys don't overtrain. Along with having programmed rest periods, they also have a specific sequence to their training schedule. For example, they won't do a night of heavy squats when they know they're going to be sparring the very next morning because they know that that might have an impact on their mobility. Consistency is always the key to becoming successful, and the pro athletes train smart and they rest when they have to because they can't afford to get injured. Now, no one is expecting you to go out there and become the next heavyweight champion of the world, but that doesn't mean that you can't train like one. Now, of course, some of these pros are genetically gifted, but it's their mindset and their attitude that really separates them from the herd. They decide what they want to achieve and they put thought into their training protocols, and they stay the course even when the going gets tough. They accept that it's not going to be easy, but they're willing to sacrifice and put in some hard work to have that taste of glory. And perhaps if you adopt some of these good habits, you're going to be one step closer to winning your own personal championship victory. This has been Mike Gales for Everlast Nutrition, and if you like these videos, then please click below to like and subscribe, as we're constantly posting up great tips and new ideas that are meant to get you into the greatest shape possible.